Today's guest is Dasha, based out of Nashville. Dasha has been making major waves in her local scene with the likes of her debut EP, the Shiny Things EP. Welcome, Dasha.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate having you. Let's
Yeah.
uh let's start back at the beginning for you. Where were you born and raised, and how did music first come into your life?
All right. So I was born and raised in San Luis Obispo, California. My parents are always very creative. They were always encouraging my brother and I, who's also a producer, to kind of explore these other alternates other than, math and sports and stuff like that. So growing up, I was always in dance classes and doing musical theater. And yeah, I guess we both had a very natural inclination to be performers and to be very creative and do art and all that stuff. So I guess when it came to high school and we became more serious about our careers and stuff, our parents were like the number one supporters of all that stuff. And it was amazing. It was so cool. But for reference, I started writing songs and playing guitar and piano when I was like 8 years old. So I kind of always knew that I wanted to do this, I guess,
Gotcha.
which is kind of crazy for an 8-year old to be like, yep, I'm going to be an artist. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So, so even out of all the other things you're into, like performing and dancing, you chose music that whole time.
yep.
Wow. What kind of music was around you as a kid? What was your family listening to?
It's funny. So many people love to ask that question. I guess there is a combination of a lot of things. There was nothing like very specific. I know my mom listened to a lot of Carole King and classic records and stuff. So I definitely felt inspired by like her music and her songwriting. As a kid, my mom bought me the first Taylor Swift CD, so I was always listening to that and obsessed with that. And also, Avril Lavigne was like a very big influence for me at a young age. My brother loved rock music, so always rock playing Green Day, My Chemical Romance, all that stuff.
That's awesome. So you started playing guitar, and did you say piano too when you were 8 years old, or
Yeah.
just guitar?
Both of them.
Which one did you like the most growing up? Like which one did you feel most drawn to?
Um, I think initially it was guitar. I started playing piano first. I didn't love my teacher, so that didn't help a lot. But yeah, no, my guitar, I just loved guitar and my teacher, and also being obsessed with Taylor Swift at the time. She played guitar. So I was like, this is it. I have to play guitar. So I'm really
Interesting.
grateful for that.
That's cool. Did Taylor Swift, was she one of the reasons you wanted to pick up the guitar in the first place?
Oh, totally. I think it's every girl's my age reason that she wanted to, you know? It
Yeah.
was just like such an icon.
What did you write your first songs about? Or what were your first songs like?
Oh my gosh. I've always been inspired by boys and crushes and stuff. My first song that I ever released when I was 13 was about this guy that I was dating at the time. Dating, I mean, for 10 days and we held hands once. That's the type of dating you did in seventh grade.
Yeah.
Um, oh, it's so funny. I ended up playing the song at our senior showcase in high school as like a joke. It was so fucking funny. Oh my God. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. So when you started releasing songs, how did you first record and I guess go about releasing those? Did you record yourself? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I guess my brother has always been a producer and always been really interested in the AET side of things. So as a kid, we would do little Christmas records for our parents for Christmas. So I would sing like Santa Baby and Last Christmas and stuff in our closet, and he would record me. And then when I actually started writing songs that were good enough to want to be recorded, he was always the first one to help me out on that. And then the one when I did when I was 13 that I was just telling you about, that was recorded in a professional studio. It's like my birthday present to get the song recorded. And that was like the craziest thing ever. I was like, oh my God, like my first song. So that's how that started.
That's such a cool present. I mean, I'm sure some kids out there would just love that. Just be able to just,
Yeah.
I don't think parents think of it. Like they don't think of how special that is, but that's awesome.
Oh, totally. My parents are amazing. They always thought about that stuff and trying to push us to do, crazy creative things.
Yeah. Did you do much performing in that, that first block of your musical career, I guess, like during high school and all that?
Yeah, I know. In middle school and high school, I actually did quite, and actually elementary school, before I even had songs out, I would go play local coffee shops and restaurants and stuff with one of my classmates and his mom. And she would write all the songs. She was a songwriter. She would just let me sing her songs. And she would play guitar, and I would just get up on the mic in my little country boots and sing the songs. Because I started out writing country music, which is so funny now listening to my music. But yeah.
That's awesome. Were you kind of a natural performer at that point, or did you kind of have to grow into, not being so nervous and things like that? Like, how was that experience for you?
I grew up doing musical theater, so it wasn't this crazy shock for me. I love being on stage. It's like my favorite place in the world. It's just easy. I love it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest lessons you learned from those early performances in your career?
Ooh, that's a good one. To always be on time. I'm always late for things. People know that about me. Um, oh, I guess just like knowing your music, and it's all about confidence, honestly. You could do anything in the world you wanted to as long as you do it with confidence. And I think that's just like such a beautiful lesson to learn as a 10-year-old playing little shows at coffee shops. Yeah, I would just like totally just sell the show. Sometimes I would no idea what's going on. I would just sell it. That's
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. What was it like growing with your brother at that time? Were you two ever performing together, or is it kind of just having your own little musical things going on until you recorded together?
The first time we ever performed together, like a big show, was when I opened for Lissy on her tour of California and Ojai. And it was like a big stage, and it was like my first like big show like that. And he was playing bass for me, and I like kind of hijacked his rock band, and I made them all turn to like country pop music. And I was like, "You guys are all playing for me." And they're like, "Okay, like whatever." So we did that, and I remember coming off the stage and like, "Oh my god, that was crazy!" It was like a 3-4 song set, so it was like a tiny little opening set. Walk off. I was 11 at the time, and I like round the corner, and there's like a line of people waiting to buy my home burn CDs that I did like the night before and just like wrote my name on it, like the jankiest stuff ever. But that was like the first time I was like, whoa, wait, this is kind of cool. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's an awesome feeling every time.
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
11.
11, that's right. Man, that's so cool. I mean, especially as an 11-year-old, I'm sure that leaves a huge imprint going forward of like, I want more of this.
So inspiring. I had so much motivation and drive to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So eventually you decided to go to Nashville. How did the Nashville thing happen? What was your thinking or your thought process behind going there in the first place?
It was for college actually. So for Belmont University, I applied my senior year, got in. It was the only place I applied to. And I went, songwriting program, songwriting major. I'm actually still in school technically. Finals are this week, so
Good
might
luck.
be dropping out, might not be. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on, but yeah, that's that.
Wow, that's awesome. Did you have any experience with Nashville before moving out there, or did you kind of just wing it one time and just say, I'm doing it?
So my older brother Bardo, he actually went to school here for 3 years before he dropped out and moved to LA. But while he was in school, I came and visited him once or twice, and I got to meet a few people, see what the vibe was like at the school, and I really liked it. So that was like the main reason I came here, because I just loved like the environment around here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What were your first expectations in Nashville going in there? And then how did Nashville meet those expectations, or was it totally different?
Nashville honestly was terrifying at first. Especially being a freshman, you're all insecure and just like, oh my God, I'm a freshman, like all that stuff. And then Belmont isn't a music school, but it has an amazing music program. So 50% of the people who go there want to be artists. And like I was rooming with a girl that wanted to be an artist, and I was suite mates with a girl, and it's just, as a freshman, you have so much like insecurity, and you feel like you need to compete with everyone in order to be like the one person that stands out. And that was super hard for me because I felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough songwriter. I wasn't good enough singer, all that stuff. And it took me like a good year to be like, wait, back up, stop comparing yourself to everyone and just like focus on yourself. And I think everyone kind of has to go through that at one point in their life. And I'm just grateful that I got that out of the way freshman year of college when everything's kind of a mess.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing to recognize about going to places like either LA or Nashville, New York, or something as an artist, is that so many artists feel that way. They feel kind of in that competitive zone all of a sudden, like they're thrown into the wolves. And I think as people settle, it seems like they get out of that mindset a bit more and, start to find their feet. But I think it happens like that for people who move out for sure.
Exactly. It's wild.
So, yeah. So when you got to Nashville, did you start performing or anything? What did you start to do in the music community?
I mostly just started co-writing is the main thing. So I never really had co-written before because back where I'm from in this small town in California, there wasn't a lot of songwriters my age. So finally I was surrounded by songwriters all the time, and I started co-writing, and that just changed the game, honestly. Totally changed the game. Oh my gosh. Co-writing is the way to go. I can like barely write songs on my own now. I like need someone else in the room. It's great.
Yeah, let's talk about that a bit. How did you first find people to write with? Were they just all over the place in Nashville, or did you kind of have to like talk to some friend groups first? How'd that work?
Well, I was a songwriting major at Belmont, so all my classes were with like mostly all other songwriters. But also like, in your dorms and just around, and we have this big field at Belmont. You just go and like bring your guitar out and just like sing a song, like whatever. So you just like naturally meet everyone. There's only 8,000-ish kids at the school, so it's not crazy hard to like meet everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I just found the people who I really liked, and this one girl, Jules, we met her freshman year, and I'm so happy I did. Like she's my favorite person to write with ever. So
that's awesome. Is it easy to find co-writers you gel with, or do you kind of have to like test the waters a bit with different people to see the ones you really like to work with?
yeah, you definitely have to test the waters. I get set up on so many random sessions through my managers, like a week, just trying to, expand the circle. But in the end of the day, you want to write with people that you feel really comfortable with and who like understand your sound and know what you want to say before you even know how to say it, kind of sometimes. So I try in Nashville to write with people that I already like really, really like and who understand me and stuff. But of course I'm taking, Zoom calls right now and Zoom sessions with people that I've never met before that are across the world, whatever, just so that when I'm in LA somewhat soon, I'll have those connections and like more people to write with and stuff.
That's awesome. What was your perform? Have you ever performed in Nashville, or what's your performance history been with the city so far?
I've performed a few times. It's mostly been like smaller shows, like writers rounds. I don't know if you've heard of those, but
Yeah,
on the stage, yeah, whatever. They're so fun. Mostly those. I'm doing one on May 15th. My single comes out May 14th, so I'm doing one May 15th on a rooftop in Nashville. That'll be pretty fun. But other than that, my biggest one was at Rocket Town, and that was a pretty fun show. So nothing crazy. I feel like my time in Nashville is mostly for songwriting, honestly, and like artist development.
yeah. I mean, that's important. It's important to get your foundation first, so you can build your career off, your
Mhm.
songs and your abilities and all that. For sure. What do you hope for the future for live? Like, do you intend to just be more of a songwriting person, someone in the studio, or do you feel that, you're talking about how you're such a natural on the stage growing up? Do you want that to come back? How is that?
Oh, totally. I mean, we're in a pandemic, so like touring's kind of canceled right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like finally my music is taking off in a level where I could book shows and actually have people show up, which is a crazy feeling. So I feel like in the next few months when things start opening up again, yeah, I love performing. It's so much fun. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to be an artist is because of that. It's like the whole picture. I mean, you're a walking product, and like having people come to your shows is just like a showcase basically for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a dream venue you want to play someday?
Someday, yeah, I want to play Red Rocks really bad. I think I love outdoor theaters and stuff. That'd be super
That'd be
fun.
so, that'd be so cool. So yeah, you recently released your EP, the Shiny Things EP. Tell me about the history of that, and like what the writing and recording process was, and what the EP means to you.
Yeah, so I wrote all those songs in the past like year for that one. It's kind of like my pandemic project. Um, I guess I was kind of hurt by this person over quarantine. It was the right person, wrong time moment, and it was it was just like a lot of like really raw emotion coming out and vulnerability in a way that I wasn't really expecting it to come out because so many people were like, it's okay if you're not creative during the pandemic and like all that stuff. But I've never been so creative in my whole entire life. I loved being like trapped at home and just like having an excuse to like not perform and to like not have to do all these other things I usually have to do as an artist. So yeah, all the songs are true stories and really, really real to me. And it was so much fun writing them with all these different people, getting them produced out. Yeah, it was a dream. I'm so proud of it. So happy it's out.
That's amazing. What do you hope the EP accomplishes?
Oh, it's almost at 750,000 streams. So that's crazy. So I'm hoping in the next like month or so I'll hit 1 million streams altogether. Um, Other than that, I wanted to like hit people. And one of my main goals as a songwriter is to make my songs very relatable. I feel like as a young 20s female, I go through a lot of things that other females in their young 20s will go through. Even like guys will understand. And yeah, my goal is just like to make music that makes people feel heard and understood and like, wow, I've been there. Like, yes, I need to listen to this. I totally know what you mean, type of thing. So I just like hope it reaches people like that and the audience keeps growing and fans keep coming in and all that jazz.
Yeah, and it seems like you're on a good track. I mean, your songs have a great sound, and of course your streams are backing you up right now. Seems like things are going to take off for you, especially this year. What are you excited for that's coming up now?
Ooh, my next single. It's called Love Me Till August. It's the first one that kind of blew up on TikTok, and I cannot wait for this one to come out. Oh my gosh. We just shot a music video last weekend for it. Looks incredible. I haven't seen any of the footage, but filming it was a dream. Yeah, just all the stuff we have going around the single. It's like all hands on deck on this one. We have some really great people pushing the single, and it's awesome having like my label really believe in the song, and like they've made that very evident. Like this is the song. Like we really think this is the song that's gonna put you on the map. So can't wait. Just a few weeks away. So yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, you talked about your label really briefly just now. For other artists who might be listening, wondering about like the what a label could do for them, or like if they should sign with a label. What's your experience been with the label so far, and like how they worked with you?
It's been awesome. So my management is like with the label. So like close contact, and I'm with Quadio. So that's my management and label. And um, they also have this like app and like streaming service called Quadio. It's for college students. And you can hop on there if you're a college student and find different creatives, songwriters, photographers, managers, et cetera, and just like sharing music on there. So if any college artists are listening, definitely get on there. It's awesome. That's how I was discovered, is on there. But yeah, no, having like the main thing for me is just having a team behind me that and standing next to me that's just so willing and believes in me so much. And that just feels so good to finally have people that undeniably are there for me and like are totally ruined for me and like cheerleaders and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, especially as an artist, I think sometimes it's easy to kind of, get so sucked into the artist side that the business side kind of falls aside on your own. So I think a team taking care of that just helps so much with your
Yeah,
growth.
totally.
So yeah, what advice would you give to new artists who might just, be starting out just now or getting the ball rolling? What advice would you give them as they start their careers?
Definitely take your time to figure out what you want your sound to be and like what you want to say. Not saying that you can't change that because I've already changed mine so many times, but just kind of knowing who you are deep down, as cheesy as that sounds, you just kind of have to have an idea of like what you want. And also I encourage all the females out there to like not take no for an answer and just keep pushing for what you want, because it's so easy to be pushed over. 2% of the music industry is females. It's atrocious. It's terrifying. So I encourage you, especially the females, to just stand up for what you want and just go for it. You can do it.
I love that. Yeah. And it's like looking at people like you mentioned, Taylor Swift. I mean, she's killing it right now. I think she's kind of like a
Totally.
gold standard for how females are having to approach things these days. It's kind of sad, like you're saying, about how they have to in the first place. But I think things are getting better. And it's people like you that are, standing up for yourselves that makes it, progress. So I applaud you for that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So yeah, what do you hope, what are your long-term goals for music? What do you hope to accomplish?
World domination. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I want to do it all. I want to be touring for the rest of my life and um, writing music and writing for other people and recording. Yeah, there's nothing else in the world that I want to do with my life except for this. So I'm in this for the long run.